the Zig watercolor pens we'll be using. I absolutely love them. It's the 60 set. And I'm also using my Misty so I can get some clean, crisp images. And I'm using Memento Tuxedo Black ink. I'm going to ink that up. And this is a cute little kitten barbecue set I had in my stash forever. And I love to do different techniques using fur, like birds. And I don't think birds have fur, but being as I'm a dog person, I love doing dog fur, and I thought I'd try the kitten fur. And I'm going to use the Zig pens with Wink of Stella, which gives you a beautiful effect. It moves that watercolor around so beautifully. You don't have to use them necessarily with just water. So I wanted you to see that when I'm doing this stamped image. And here I just grabbed the little flipper for the barbecue, and I put my sentiment on there, and it says, for a perfectly terrific birthday. And I thought it only fitting, and I love cute little stamps. And this is a photopolymer set that I have, and it comes in 2 parts. So you have all the cooking utensils on one side, and then you have all of these cutesy rootsy little kitten images on the other side. So I am just quickly pressing it down, and I'm going to heat set that as well. I like to do that because I'm using watercolor paper, and if you're going to do any type of Copic coloring or coloring with your pencils or with these Zig markers, it's nice to use watercolor paper. This is the Tim Holtz pre-cut A2 size cardstock, and it has the nice little grooves in it, so it makes it fun to do fur effects on it. So I fussy cut out of a 6x6 piece of paper with the red with the little polka dots, and I'm just making sure that they're all nice there and putting them off to one side. And here's my Zig pens. Now, I was going to use a blender pen. I started out with it, and then it did not move as much as I wanted to, so I switched over to the Wink of Stella. So the reason why I chose to push this video along there, I started using it, and then I thought, no, I'm going to right there grab my Wink of Stella because it moves watercolor pencils or these Zig pens beautifully. So I'm just setting a base, and I'm doing it with a blue-gray, and in the blue tones. I'm doing it in a brown tone gray, and then the actual blues and purple. I'll be pulling that into a light mauve, actually. Because if you do black hair, you will notice that it looks nicer if you pull some blues and some purples into the black. It just adds a richness and gives you such beautiful depth. So I'm just setting a base. I haven't started yet to do any of the flicking necessary to add fur to an object, to, you know, a dog or a cat. In this video, it'll be a little kitten. So now I'm going on to, oh, good. Here we are. So I've set the base, and it already has some little lines in there. So I'm going to darken them up. I like to do this before. This is with... I'm just pushing lines out and down to where the eyes are there. Just like that. Nice, and trying to get you to see it there. I love watercolor paper when you do this technique because those little grooves grab those flicking motions that you're making. And the Zig pens, if you haven't tried them yet, they are so crazy fine on the ends. There you go. I'm picking it up now because I want to get tiny little lines. And I do one long line and one short line. And I go in different directions, if you see here. And because it's sped up, it really is hard to notice. But with the Wink of Stella, it's beautiful. So now I am just getting a base set for the body. And I'm grabbing the blue. And I made a chart, which I'm going to show you in this video, of all the products that I have used. And if you want to stop the video, I'll leave it over on my blog. I'll take a picture and I'll put it over there. So if you want to replicate this technique, you'll have the necessary tools to do it with. So here's the mauve that I'm taking, and just see how it just, if you set it in the background, it just gives it such a nice look of rich black, because black alone is flat. There you have it. I listed the names and the colors and everything that I used on this little kitty. And I already did the eyes with the enamel accents. I'm just writing that on there because I wanted them to dry. And I did the nose as well so it would dry, because you don't want to color around something that is wet, right? And I just really love the effect that the enamel gives you. And I used some stickles on that flipper tool there, the barbecue flipper. And there you have it. And it's the Irresistible. And I wanted to show you that the shimmer Irresistible and the clear Irresistible are totally different. And there you have all the colors that produce a beautiful, beautiful black richness on any project, especially hair. So there you go. Now we're going to move on. I'm going to show it to you. And it really doesn't, oh, I'm just showing you with the stickles how on that flipper it just stands right out. And I use the Irresistible clear, and it's almost like a beautiful, shiny, it dries just so nicely when you use those Irresistibles. I can't even tell you enough, they're beautiful. It's like using glossy accents, but it doesn't have the, it's more transparent, and it doesn't look like a plastic. It just has a different look to them. So here's my clear Wink of Stella, and I'm going in on the feet, setting the base once again. And I'm going to take a minute to grab a baby wipe, because sometimes that Wink of Stella lets out a little bit too much of the sparkle and the glitter when you're using watercolors. So I just wipe it off. It doesn't do anything. So here's the mauve again, and I'm bringing it up. I'm just adding the shadows. I always add my shadow base first before I do any of the flicking technique to produce a 3D effect of having fur or hair on animals. And I love doing that. So I want to bring up the darkest towards the front and the light towards the back. Underneath that apron, you want to have it dark, and above the apron. So here I am just adding a little bit more to the bottom, to the tail, getting the tail done. Now here's my baby wipe that I have, and it's a pre-dried baby wipe. Let me say that it is not wet, because you can see it's on my card. And a clean and simple card, which this is for me, I would not put a wet baby wipe on it. I'd have to start all over. Oh no. No, I have a few that I just leave out in the air to dry for this type of technique. So now I'm grabbing a little one of my tools there that I use frequently, and I am taking some of the Wink of Stella off so that I can add more color. It just let out a little bit too much shimmer for me. So I'm taking the black in, and I'm doing the tail, and I'm giving it some little fur, just with some thin, there you go, just strokes, just some thin strokes, some lines. And the Zig pens here, they are so pointy at the end, you could get in the tightest areas. So now I'm just checking to make sure I want to have 2 layers on the body and 4 layers of fur on the face. And the enamel accents on the eyes there and the nose dried so beautifully. And I wanted it to be really round, because I will add the cat eye later on with my Irresistible and enamel accent mixed together. So now I'm going in and making sure I have some fine lines all throughout the tail, the feet. And in person, this honestly looks like you could put your hand across it and you would feel fur. It has the Wink of Stella with these zig pens are a marvelous combination. I think you'll really like it. And I go in different directions there. The cheek, I am almost cross hatching in certain areas so that you get, see right there on the ear, so that the ear gets some definition. And I'm cross hatching here so that here by the ear, oh yes, it is so crazy pretty. And it's just a really nice stamp. I will put it in on my blog what stamp set this is, because if you like cats and animals, this is a nice company to order from. So being a dog person, I thought this was kind of nice to get this little cat image. And I had forgot I had it in my stash, so as soon as I found it, I thought I know exactly what I'm going to do with this. And I think she looks really cute, doesn't she? I'm trying to, sometimes a camera just doesn't do it justice to show you. I keep wanting to, the Stickles brings out that spatula so nicely, and the Irresistibles will go in on the handle nicely. And because I am going to put the fussy cut paper on the hat and the apron and the mitts, it's pretty awesome. So now I keep looking at it and I'm thinking to myself, I am going to, I'm just showing you the eyes there. I'm going to mix up some of the Irresistible, and I showed you that because they have seals on them that you have to take off. So I'm just making sure that that one had the seal off, and it is eggplant that I'm using, and then the green, and it was kind of a tight squeeze putting that down in there. So all you do is take your heat tool and you heat up that metal and it slides in like butter. So if you have anything that's sticking, especially on your detailed pens like that, your detailed glue holders, just put your heat tool on the metal. And here you go. I'm just showing you what I'm mixing up here. And there's the Stickles on that spatula. Talk about fast, isn't it? And there you go. I'm putting it on the side, trying to get you to see it. I have the eggplant, the green, mixing it up with the clear, and then I'm going to add some of the enamel accents to give it a thickness for the eyes, because in some kittens, I don't have kittens, but in their eyes, they're kind of a purple green. And I'm going to create that on each of the side in a L shape. So it brings the eye out, and then I'm going to put some little whiskers, and then I'm just going to brush the whiskers out like that. Now I'm adding some Tombow Mono Multi to put down my cute little apron. And the dots on this they have little fibers in them. It's like velvet. And I thought that was a nice paper to use. So I'm just adding, I always go over my papers with black on the sides so you don't see where you've cut it out. And then in circles, just to add a little round, I'd say a quarter of the circle with your black, and it'll just pop those circles right out. Now for the hat, I'm going to grab some of the Fun Foam. I had bought this at the dollar store, and it actually had dots, Fun Foam dots. So I'm taking one of them, putting it on the back of the hat, because that'll save you. I mean, it's a huge pack of these. And I go to put it on and remember that I want to paint that hat black, because I don't want you to be able to, on the sides of the card, see any of the white. And it did not affect my pens whatsoever touching the glue. I just took my dry baby wipe and rubbed it off, and the watercolor just flowed normally. So I go to put it back on in a second here. See, I wipe it up with that dry baby wipe, and I realize above the little head there, I've got to put some of the black watercolor. So I do that, and then I add some more Tombow, And on these little fine liners, like I said, if the glue does not come out because they are fine in the metal, all you have to do is heat it up with your heat tool, and it should help. It helps me when they get clogged a bit and I can't get down there with a pin. All I do is heat it up with the heat tool. So now I'm adding the Irresistible Clear in the center of the spatula there, the flippy tool, and to the handle, and it's beautiful. I love those Irresistibles. They come in lots of colors, like everything else, and I think you'll really like using it. So here's the eggplant. I'm going to do the spoon in, and it dries beautiful. It has a different effect than glossy accents in the sense of it does not raise as much, but it sure does. See, you can tell it's on there. It's just a product in itself. I love them. So here you have them, and I'm grabbing my tweezer to get these little mitts on, and I'm going to hold it there. And it came out to be a cute little clean and simple card. I love to color, so as soon as I saw that little cat, I thought, oh, this is going to be awesome practicing how to do fur. And I like to do that with my Copics, but these zig markers, I'm telling you, they're addictive. So there you have it. He is almost done in the front. What I'm going to do here is make some stone, some kind of brick stone. You know, when you have your barbecue out the back and you have those bricks on the bottom, I'm just going to make them look like big stones that he's standing on. So all you do is just rub it and then add some lines, uneven, like that, short and long. And it looks like he's out there on some pavement. And that is the light gray I'm using. There you go, quick and easy. And I think it has a nice effect. And then I'm just adding a little bit of texture with a darker gray, so it does look like stone. There you go. It's just a cute little image, isn't it? So now I'm going to show you there. I put the eggplant up there on the heart, and it looked really nice, so I just left it. I was going to put cut it out with the paper, but I thought, no, I think I'll just use the Irresistible. So now I'm just adding the black, going around those circles like that so it doesn't look flat, and going around the edges, because if you fussy cut anything, you should use your black marker, your memento marker, or in this case the zig markers, and go around all of the fussy cut images. And now I'm just adding little lines so it looks more realistic. There you go. I want to use some of my beacon glue, and I needed to heat set that because I had the lid off. It wasn't totally secure, so I just heat set it, and now it's fine. I did, because it goes right down in that yellow tip, so I just heated it up, and when I was finished, oh yeah, it came out smooth as butter. So that's just a tip. It'll help you there when if you ever get a clogged bottle like that. And then it went back nicely. Well, now I'm back and I am making the sky. I laid a gray base, and I show you the colors I used at the end, and I'm using the Wink of Stella to move those zig pens around to look like clouds. So I have two colors of the gray and the light blue color. You can use any light blue, and I'm going in circular motions because it'll move it away from the gray so it looks like poofy clouds. And it really does look like poofy clouds. And then at the end of the video, I ended up doing the portion in the middle with a really pretty blue, and I used water. I did not use the Wink of Stella. Here I'm using the Wink of Stella for the clouds, and it came out nice. I really like the effect that the clouds had on there, but I didn't want the Wink of Stella to be in the background, like the sky in the background. So when I got finished the card, I just put some of the baby light blue zig marker on my Craft Ranger mat. I sprayed a little bit of water in it, took a watercolor brush, one of my paint brushes, and I went all over the middle section. Now here with the gray, I'm just adding some texture because I want those clouds to stand out more. So just add, go around them, and really, I set some on my Ranger mat there that I'm grabbing it from. I mixed the gray and the blue on my mat, and it came out. It just was a sweet card to make. I love clean and simple cards. Yeah, isn't that funny? I don't do enough of them, but I'm going to start doing some clean and simple cards. Now, why I brought the ruler out here is because I heat set it, and I was going to draw a line around the outside, and I kept looking at it, and the more I looked at it, I wanted to keep it clean. I did not want to close it in, especially on the sentiment there. There's hardly any room to add a line, and I did not want it to look like it was squeezed in at all. So see, yeah, keep looking at it, tipping it around. No, 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 no. Don't add any lines. I want it to look like it branches out on the sides. And yeah, so I just left it. And now I am just adding a little, moving some of that brick, that stone there on the bottom around. There you go. He is so crazy cute. Yeah, I don't mind kittens like stamped out like that. I just love my Bull Mastiff dog. Yeah, so here I took an A2 size frame with the dots in it, and now I'm just going to add some twine to the bottom for some interest, that's all. And I'm sewing it in with my, you know, that thingy there that I always forget to use. And boy, I can't believe I can't think of the name. But anyway, yeah, I only used them for years. So here we go. I'm just going to grab some handy dandy Scotch tape and tape those little strings down so that when I put my foam on there on the back to raise it up, this is the inside of the card now, it will stick beautifully. So here you have it. I'm just cutting it off, and I'm going to start stamping. It had another image in there that said kiss the cook on an apron. So I stamped that out. And see, to the left I have my rolling pin. I have it's my envelope, and I have the measuring spoons and the bowl with mixture in it, and I have another cat image on top. I'm going to use my Copics to do the envelope. So I'm going to set that aside for another video, and I'm going to move on to this set. I wanted to put this mitt, that's another stamp that was in this set. Man, it had a lot of stamps in there. Yeah, I tried to put that down without taking the backing off my foam tape. Where should it go? Yeah, right there. Okay, so we have oven mitt, barbecue mitt, and I'm just going to clean it up. I put some of the foam tape on the back, and this is for the inside of the card to write your sentiment on there. And I'm putting it in. And then, believe it or not, this is my clean and simple card. I had to put a piece on the back because for some reason it got a little dot on the back of the white cardstock, and I couldn't stand it. So I just cut another 4.5 by 5.25 inch piece of white Nino Solar white cardstock and put it on the back. So it was nice. So here I'm just adding some 2 shades of the brown sandy color just to bring the apron out. And here's the other color. I'm just going, oh, this is black. I'm doing the strings on the side, and I end up doing the piece that goes over your head there. And when I stamped this out, I did not use the Misty, and a couple of the letters were not fully stamped. So I just added it because the end of these zig pens are so wonderfully pointy. It's just beautiful. So I'm just adding a little bit, bringing out the apron a little bit more, and then I end up putting on my beacon glue over top of the whole thing. Because if you buy the beacon glue at Michael's, I always tell you this, you get 3 times the amount as glossy accents, and you use your 40% coupon, and you've got yourself a great deal, and it dries identical. So that's the beacon glue. There you go. So this is on the inside now. Yes, get it even there. So I'm putting that in, and I just thought it was a cutesy card. Yeah, you have to be careful your hands are clean when you do that. So there he is, a little bit of dimension, kiss the cook. And see, I saw that little dot, and it was just a little dot. That's why you have to be so careful with doing clean and simple cards, that your whole area is clean. So now I am adding some of the Stampin' Up! Fuse on the back so it doesn't come off. That's really good tape runner. I'm setting it on there, and now it feels like a card to me because it has layers on every side. It's my layered clean and simple card. Yes. So here, oh, sorry, I thought I used my beacon glue. I guess I'm using up my glossy accent. Sorry. I have one with the great big beacon glue that I use all the time, and then my glossy accents I'm trying to use up. But they both work the same, but one cost you a third of the price, and that's the beacon glue. So anyway, I do the circles in here, and I am a happy camper with this. Almost makes me want to go barbecue a steak or a burger or something yummy like that. Yes, so I'm going over the sides, the little strings on there, and have yourself a blessed day.